Welcome to another episode where we explore the deeply personal practice of journaling through authentic conversations. Today we're sitting down with Anya, a college student whose relationship with journaling has evolved from childhood drawings to a profound tool for self-discovery and legacy building. Her story takes us from those early scribbles to intentional daily practice and reveals how journaling can become a bridge between generations. Let's dive into Anya's world.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and what's your journaling story? How did it start?
Yeah.
What's your habit like? And
So I'm Anya. I'm a rising senior in college, and I'm studying computer science and business with minors in entrepreneurship and environmental science. And so I feel like I've always had kind of a lot of thoughts in my head for years.
What strikes me about Anya is how naturally she connects her busy academic life with this deeply personal practice. As she mentioned, she's juggling multiple disciplines, yet journaling has found its place as something essential. Let's hear how this all began.
And I started journaling. I think I started taking journaling seriously a few years ago, but I started journaling when I was like 5 years old. My mom gave me a journal and I would scribble in it. I would draw in it, everything, but it wasn't anything deep until high school started, and I kept a new journal because I had a lot going on in high school, just like in my personal life and with academics and everything, and I didn't really have a way of processing everything that was going on in my head. I don't like to talk about my problems a lot, and I don't really like talking to people about my problems all the time, and so writing it out and being able to articulate what I was thinking really helped me process everything.
There's something beautiful about how Anya describes that evolution from childhood expression to becoming a tool for processing life's complexities. But college brought new challenges, and with them, a deeper intentionality to her practice.
And I was kind of on and off with it. I never really took it that seriously. Whenever I felt like writing, I would write. And then college came, and I moved away from home, and I was surrounded by people I'd never been seen in my life, and I felt very alone. And so journaling kind of helped me at that time too, where I kind of turned to that, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is how I feel, kind of like journaling with more intention, I think. I wasn't just being like, oh, I did this today, I did that for lunch. I was journaling with a lot more intention.
That vulnerability Anya shares about college loneliness is so relatable. Many of us have been there, searching for connection and finding it in unexpected places. For Anya, that search led to something transformative during her time abroad.
My junior year, I went abroad, and when I went abroad, I was doing so many cool things every day, and I didn't want to forget anything. And for the first time in my life abroad, I felt very much like myself, and I was very, very happy, and I was surrounded by people I could be myself with. I really met people that accepted me for me, and I wanted to be able to capture all those good moments and good memories so that I could go back and read about them later on. And so when I was abroad, I think I journaled pretty much every day because I wanted to be able to really think about and remember every single thing that I was going through.
The joy in Anya's voice when she talks about that study abroad experience is infectious. You can hear how that period of happiness and self-discovery shaped not just her journaling practice, but her entire relationship with documenting life. What she shares next about legacy and future generations really moved me.
And then I just continued journaling after that, and now what I kind of say is, and this kind of goes back to my mom, I guess, who gave me my journal initially, but every time I have an issue or I am struggling with something, she's always like, I understand, I'm here for you, you can come to me. And I know she's there for me and I know I can go to her, but she, at the end of the day, doesn't understand because she's not living my life, or she hasn't been through the same things as me. And I tell her that, I'm like, it's not your fault, but you don't understand. And I've thought about when I have kids and when my kids would come to me and be like, oh, I'm struggling with this, I've gone through this, and I would give the same response as my mom. I'd be like, you can come to me, I'm here, I'll understand. And if they say oh, you don't understand, I would want to show them my journal and be like, hey, read this journal. This is exactly what I was going through at your age. And here's literally not proof, but I've gone through the same things as you, and this can kind of help you. So that's how I look at my journal now, is it is for me, but it's also for the future and helping, my kids that I don't have yet, obviously. But yeah.
Cool, interesting. That's a pretty interesting way to like sort of think about journaling as a way to.
That reflection about creating a bridge to future children through journaling, it's profound. The way Anya connects her relationship with her mother to her hopes for her own future family shows such emotional intelligence and intentionality. Her interviewer picks up on this beautifully.
Preserve things, but also preserve it in the moment and not wait to retell it. I guess what part of that is like what keeps you going on that journey to keep going back to your journal? Do you just write, or do you also look at old entries and have like these aha moments? What's kind of that been like the reading part of your own journal and versus the writing, right? I know writing is a little cathartic. You like to get things off your chest, off your mind. But sometimes, like, what has that sort of process been for you?
Yeah, I think I initially.
So, this question about the balance between writing and reading old entries opens up something really important about the journaling process. It's not just about getting thoughts out, but about creating a dialogue with your past self.
I would write when I was not feeling great and when I was kind of down. And then I started to have these really happy moments when I was abroad, and I would only write about those, and I didn't really have any bad moments abroad. And so then I started to I wouldn't want to really think about how I was feeling when I felt negative, and so I wouldn't journal. And I think the way I pushed through that, because now I write pretty much everything, because you go through ups and downs in life, and you have to kind of document all of it. You can't just document the good parts. And so the way I think about that is like, if I showed my journal to my kids, I always come back to that, is like, if I'm showing my journal to kids or just anyone else who's struggling with something and they see only the good things that I've written down, they don't see the struggles that I've gone through, they don't see any negativity in the journal, then they're just not going to believe that I've gone through anything negative. And so that's one thing.
Anya's insight about documenting both the highs and lows for authenticity really resonates. It takes maturity to recognize that our future selves need the full picture, not just the struggles or just the celebrations. This wisdom shows up beautifully in how she approaches reading her old entries.
Go back and read my entries pretty much all the time. I sometimes go back and if I'm going through a bad day or whatever, I'll go back to reading what I wrote when I was abroad and I was feeling great. Other times I'll just go back to some things from even high school and the quote-unquote advice I would give myself through the journal. I honestly am kind of surprised sometimes that it's me that wrote that, because I was pretty wise, I guess, back then, and I sometimes need to hear the things that I wrote back in high school to help me through what I'm going through now, just like on a different scale. And so honestly, going back and reading through my journal really helps. I think I do that all the time, and that's why I carry my journal with me everywhere. It's always on me, no matter where I'm going, what I'm doing. I always have it, just so that I can either go back and write anything I want to write down, or I can also go back and read anything that I need to hear. Because when I go back and read, I'm like, well, I wrote that. That's from me. So I know that I have, those emotions and thoughts in my head. So, yeah.
Nice. That's pretty interesting.
Ayhoy! What a beautiful way to end our conversation with Anya. That surprise she feels when rediscovering her own wisdom in old journal entries. That's the magic of this practice, isn't it? From childhood scribbles to intentional daily documentation, from processing loneliness to building bridges to future generations, Anya's journey shows us how journaling can evolve with us throughout our lives. Her story reminds us that our words today might be exactly what we need to hear tomorrow, or what our children might need to understand us years from now. Thank you for joining us for this intimate look into one person's relationship with the written word. Until next time, keep writing your story.